Alright guys, welcome to my video, which is going to be on Amnesia scripting basics for your own custom stories. If you've been following along the other videos, you might notice that I have a new microphone. Yay. So yeah, that's enough about my personal life that you would not care about. If you have not followed along, you might not have these files. This is in your custom story directory. If you don't have these files, you should get them. I have provided a download link in the first video of this series, so you can just go there and download it. Anyway, in this video, let's go ahead and make our levels inside maps. Let's make them interesting. Let's add some scripting to them. So you used the level editor already to make a map, and you want to make stuff happen in it, then let's go scripting. In the download, I already have provided a scripting file for level 1 map. It doesn't actually have anything. It just explains pretty much what the 3 default commands do. But anyway, before we go into that, let's start with actually, if you don't have a scripting file, let's make one. Alright, so what you want to do to make your own scripting file, just notice that the extension is .hps. Hang on, I'm gonna do that. So open up TextEdit, just make a new document, and the first thing we want to do, go up on Format, make plain text, or else it will be a text file and not a general whatever file. So now we don't really need to have anything in here, just save it. Let's make sure to save it. Let's just save it on the desktop for now. And we need an extension. Just remember to add the proper extension. Let's see, let's call it level2.hps. And once you save that, it should come out. It might actually prompt you. What the hell just happened? Alright, let's try that again. Let's relaunch the application and see if that could help. Let's make a new document. Format, make plain text. Let's just type something, save it, and let's save it as level2.hps. Alright, I'm saving it in iCloud now, but maybe it was something with the desktop, I don't know. It might come up with this. Remember to use HPS. It's going to be an HPS file and not anything else. Let's just take this out of there. Let's just close TextEdit for now. Alright, here we got level 2 HPS. So just put that next to your map. It needs to be the same name and it needs to be in the same location. So if it is .hps, it should look just like level 1, or you could just much easier just duplicate this one and rename it. That's probably the best. But if you don't have anyone to start with, you can just make one. Double click, open with TextEdit. You can use another text editor if you don't like using TextEdit. Personally, I just use it because it's simple. But if you want something that shows more info, you could use TextWrangler, which I have installed, but personally I don't use it. But if you're on a Windows computer, you can use Notepad++. It should be the best one to use for Angel script, which Amnesia is made in. Let's see, TextWrangler, I have it right here actually. TextWrangler. You can use this instead. I already have some files open here. You could use this instead if you want to. I just find it kind of weird to use sometimes. But it does count lines and it has colors for certain things. So it can be easier to look upon. So I guess I'll link TextWrangler in the description if you want to use this instead. But personally, I'm just going to use TextEdit because I find it easier. Actually, let's just close that. So now that you have your scripting file next to your map, personally, I like to add a label to them. Red for the scripting file, so it's easier to distinguish, so I don't accidentally click on the map and open this and it's like, whoa, this is everything in the map. Just like to use that. Let's remove this because this would give us an error. Anyway, if you look at the level 1 HPS, it has this already in it, and I recommend you just copy that and put it over to your level 2. Paste. Alright, so these lines starting with double slash, basically they are comments, and they're not read by the engine, so they are just ignored. So you can write anything here if you want information. If you have a lot of code about something, you can kind of categorize it and make it look better, but you don't really need this, so you can just delete it if you like, but I put it there in case you need to be reminded. Basically, there are 3 functions that the engine starts off with, which are these: the onStart, onEnter, and onLeave functions. And they pretty much are self-explanatory. Let's just remove the comments right here. The onStart is executed the first time you start the map that this file is associated with, level 2. The first time you load this in the game, it's going to run everything inside this code block right here. And onEnter is going to run every time you come back. It's going to run the first time, so these 2 are run both at the first time you enter, but this one is run every time you re-enter the room as well. So if you are transported back to level 1 and you go back to level 2, this is going to be executed again inside here. So, and void onLeave is also, it's pretty simple to understand. It happens when you leave the level, so while you're on your way to this level, or pretty much when this level starts, but it's still executed in this level. So it could be used to stop music and stuff. You can just keep the comments there if you like, but if you already know what this is, then let's carry on. Alright, so why don't we test if this actually works? But of course we need some code in there, or else right now it won't do anything because it doesn't have anything in each block. So let's go find a function. There is a page called Engine Scripts on the Frictional Games wiki, and this is it has a list of all the functions that you can use in Amnesia altogether, everything. So it starts up here as void only. Actually, there's another one on game start. When this function is found in the global HBase file and inventory, it's run when the game is first started by the player. So start new game. No matter what file you have it in, or it's global. Anyway, it's not that important for every separate file level. Anyway, these 3 and that one. This page has a list of everything that you can do. Generals, they are more technical stuff. If you go down, let's say go to the middle, see what we find. Give hint. This will display a hint on the screen. Exit inventory will force them to close. Let's scroll down, and callbacks are used so that it can execute something when something happens. Pretty much, I'll go more into that later. Get entity exists will pretty much check that if an entity exists, then you can do something. And let's skip further down. Connect entities. Set swing door locked, so you can lock or open a door and stuff like that. So this page is very useful, and I pretty much need it when I'm scripting. It has a lot of things like parameters, things that you will need to remember. Well, no, you won't need to remember if you have this page. So I recommend you take this page from the description and add it to a bookmark. Right, I have it right here. And there you can reference every function in the game that you're able to use. So let's find a simple one. You can just command or control F and search up something. I already wrote this. Let's search for play music. You can search up commands. Personally, I've actually read through this whole page, and once you do, you will be able to know what you're able to do and what the functions are called. So if you feel like you want to do that, then feel free to do so. You might find some funny functions to use. I remember I did. So alright, so let's search up a command. I searched up play music because that's a very simple one, but it has a lot of things. Right? It says void play music, and then it has the parentheses and all these things. Just copy the whole line except the void part. You don't want to use the void part, you just copy from here, because the void, it's already inside a void block. So let's go back to the scripting file right here. Alright, so on start, let's just, I'm going to use tab just to make it look a bit better. Paste. Alright, so we got the function play music, but we also got a lot of things in here. Every time there's a string and then, well, these are pretty much the default or parameters, names or whatever. So you select everything from the start of the first word here to the comma, and this is going to be replaced with something of your own. So if it starts off at string, then it means it's a string, it's a piece of text, and every piece of text in code is wrapped inside double quotes. So just type double quotes like this, and then you can type text inside there, and that will be read by the engine. If it says a bool, that's a boolean. They can be either true or false. So just write true or false. Since it says ab loop right here, it also explains exactly what each of these are in the thing. So determines whether a music track should loop. So if this music is going to loop, then put true. If it's not, then put false. Float is a number. So volume, it says volume of the music. Just put a number. It doesn't really, I mean, if you want very faint music, you could put like 0.3. I'll just put 1, pretty basic. And fade time, this is also a float, so it's going to be a number. Alright, so if you want, well, this is a fade time. Pretty much time in seconds until music reaches full volume. You just, let's put 4 seconds. This is 4 seconds from when you start the map until the music is full volume. Yeah. Priority, let's put that to 1. Priority is just if you have a lot of music playing at the same time, you determine which is being played via priority. So only one music track can be played at the same time or at once, and that's the one with the highest priority. So if it has 0, it doesn't really matter if you have only 1. It doesn't matter if you have -1. It's going to be played unless there is another play music with a higher number. And the last one is another boolean, so it's going to be either true or false. And this is playback should be continued with the track stopped. So stop music is right here. It's going to pretty much stop the music, and then this determines when you run play music again, it's going to determine whether it's resumed from where it stopped or not. If you don't plan on stopping it, just do whatever. I'm going to put true though. And let's remember to save it, and let's run up the game and see if it works. Actually, there's one thing that I forgot. I forgot to put anything in the string. So remember, if you have an error, it always tells you where it is by line and word. Or I believe it's a character, line by character. Anyway, so if I remember correctly, it's 06_amb.ogg, which is a music file in the game. You can go, if you look in the Finder or Folder section and go back. Let's go back to the main Amnesia thing. Go near the bottom. We have sounds, and here we have all the sound. Actually, go to music here. All right. So this is all the music in the game, and the one I selected right now is the 06ambogg. So it also says here what you're going to type in the string. So the music to play plus extension OGG. So it's going to be the name plus the extension. Anyway, so this is the name and the extension. So you can open it up and you can listen to it, or you could put your own custom music. Anyway, let's go back to our folder here, and let's just put that labeled so we have it done. And yeah, so now we can run this game and see if this music is going to be played when we start. Alright. Dev user, don't mind that, or just hang on. I keep having this very loud. Anyway, now let's start up. We need some music anyway, so let's start up the tutorial custom story that I have here and start. And as you can hear, the music is playing. Let's pick up the lantern. Yeah, so if that code was not working, it would be completely quiet right now, but since it is working, that means the file is working, and that means you can put more code and whatever. So now we got scripting working, and let's go into a few more common functions. Alright, so let's go over another very common one, which is the timer, or the add timer function, or command, or line, or whatever you want to call it. And this one is a bit interesting because I guess I should explain exactly how to use such a thing, because they're a bit more less straightforward. Let's just say they're less straightforward. This one you just put in and it works automatically. But let's say you don't want something to happen when you start or enter. You just want it to happen like after a set amount of time, or when you collide somewhere. Well, let's start with a timer. Let's paste in the command right here, add timer. This is the name of the timer. This is just the internal name because it doesn't really have any in-game name, it just has an internal name. And personally, you don't need to put anything here. Just remember to put double quotes because it's a string, or else it will give you an error. That's the source of many of my errors, where I forgot the quotes. You don't really need to put a name in here unless you need to reference the timer later on. Like if you're going to remove it with this other command right here, you need an internal name of the timer. But if you're just going to use it once, then yeah. Hang on. Sorry about that. That was just my dog feeling the need to leave my domain. Anyway, so yeah, you don't really need to put a name in here unless you're going to use it for it. So personally, I don't put anything there, unless of course need to. Anyway, next thing, this is the amount of seconds until the timer executes. So let's say after 6 seconds, something else is going to happen. So the timer itself doesn't do anything in the game. A lot of these functions don't actually do anything in game, but you need to understand them to be able to do more interesting things in the game. Alright, so string, remember string needs double quotes. This is the function, so basically the function to call. And this might confuse a lot of people. It confused me in the beginning, but after some time you really get used to it. It's Amnesia scripting is very easy compared to a lot of other scripting games and stuff. So this is a string, put as quotes, and let's just call this is the function. So I'm not sure how exactly to explain this, but alright, so this is a function. The onEnter is a function. The onStart is a function. Each of these blocks is a function. So you're gonna make a custom function right here, and this is, you can put whatever you want in here, just you need to put something unique. You can't put onStart in here, or else well, I guess you can, because they have different parameters, each type of function. These are just general, they have nothing. But a string, a timer, has what it says here. But anyway, let's just name this timer. I like to start timer functions with timer, and let's call it timer 6. Timer 6. Alright, so basically this is when you enter the level, after 6 seconds it's going to call the function timer 6. But the timer 6 function is nowhere to be found yet. That's why you want to put some free space here. Let's do void. Always do void when you're going to make a new function. No matter what, you just put void. That's pretty easy to remember. Just put void. Just pretty much copy the other ones. Then you need to do timer 6, or you need to make these match this one. So they need to be the exact same. so that it knows what to reference. And then it also needs parentheses, but if you do it just like this, it won't work. The timer has this. You need to go to the function and you need to copy this inside the parentheses. Let's copy that and paste it in there. And now this is now a timer function. So basically this determines what kind of function it is, and this is the name of the function. So if this well, let's say if this matches this exact, and this is, or kind of matches this, to say it that way, if they match across each other, this one needs to match the function, this one needs to match the name, then it will work. And now let's put opening and closing squiggly brackets, and this is just like any other function. If you put play music in here instead, let's do that, cut it out there and paste it in here instead, then the music is not going to play until the timer is called. So after 6 seconds, that's when the music isn't going to play. So let's save this and try. And now let's go back into the game. Tutorial, start, and let's see. It is completely quiet. And there goes the music. So after 6 seconds, the music has started. And yeah, that's pretty much it. But timers can be used a lot more, and if you want to make something really interesting, I mean, it pretty much is up to your imagination what you can do with all these things, because you're provided with tools that have a lot of potential, and it really depends what you use them for. Because a timer, you can use, if you use a lot of timers, and it can make a lot of random things happen, and if you use a lot of checks and a lot of well, if you read all of the functions and you make a lot of interesting things, well, it's very hard to explain, but you have the tools and you just need some very good imagination, and you will likely be able to make something really cool. Just let's go out of the game here, and I'll show you one more function that is very common. So for this particular function or command or whatever you want to call it, we need a level editor. So I'm just going to open up the Amnesia launcher right here, and I'm going to go to Editor Suite, Level Editor, and yeah, so let's just minimize that there. Let's open a file. Don't mind this. Let's go to Custom Story, Maps, Level 2. And here's the level we made sometime earlier. Just gonna put down the line. And alright, so let's say we want something to happen with an area, because areas are pretty cool to use in scripting and very useful. Alright, so let's say if we go close to the door, let's make an area go up there, just covering the door. You can also select it afterwards and just modify it. Let's put it just in front of the door so that when you go close to the door, now this is the internal name of the object, so we need to remember this. Let's call it area. I like to call the areas with areas, of course. Just remember something you can remember. So let's call it area door. Remember to hit enter or else it won't save. So hit enter and save the map. And yeah, so now let's go back to the scripting. Let's just minimize the level editor right here, and let's search up the command collide. Oh, collide, there we go. Add entity collide callback. This one might sound very advanced, but once you know what it is pretty simple to understand, or you don't even need to understand, you just need to know what it does. Alright, so on start, let's add this function. Alright, so pretty much what this function does is that it adds a check for whenever an entity collides with something. Let's see, string parent name. The parent is the main object, the child is the second object. So these two, when these two collide, these two objects, entities, areas, whatever, when they collide, then this function is going to be called, similar to the timer function. So let's see, the parent, you can put this to an internal entity in the game, or you can set it to player. If you set it to player, then when the player collides with this other string, which in my case is going to be area door, when the player collides with the door area, then this function is going to be called. So let's put a function, let's call it player door. Just name it whatever, can be whatever, and boolean delete on collide. These are just some more things you can customize it with. So this is a boolean, true or false, and basically this defines whether this callback, as it's called, or reference or check, is going to be removed once it has been executed. So if this is true, it will only happen once as you enter the area. If it's false, it will happen every time you enter the area. I like to keep it true, but if it's going to happen several times, feel free to put it to false. Int all states. This thing, it can be 3 different values. First of all, it's a number, as it says here. These are 3 different values, either 1, 0, or -1. 1, if you put 1 right here, it's going to happen when you enter the area. If you put -1, it's going to happen when you leave, or only when you leave, pretty much. And if you put 0, it's going to be both. So if we have the level editor right here, let's say the cursor is the player. Once you go in, it's going to happen if you have it to 1. If you have it to -1, it's going to only happen once you have entered and are on your way out. If you have 0, it's going to happen both. If you have it on 0 and this to true, it's pretty much the same as 1, because it won't happen more of the time. So if it's false and you have it to 0, it's going to happen both on the way in and out. Anyway, let's just keep it like this. So it's only happening once, it's only happening when you enter. And we need another function called player door. So pretty much let's just copy this entire timer function right here, paste it, let's rename it to player door. But these parameters are not the same for every like if we just run it like this, this would not fit this, because this does not fit this. We need to use the proper parameters in this function to make it know that it's a collide function. So you go here, this is the callback syntax. So void my function, or whatever you call it, in my case it's player door, void player door, and then this string as in parent, child, and state. So these can be used, this is more advanced, but what is inside here can be used in the code itself by reference, but I'm not going to go much into that now. This is, after all, basic tutorial. So anyway, now that this fits this, then it will work. But let's not play music, let's do something else, I guess. Or I guess we could play another music. Let's see, let's play ambience, let's do 7, why not? The level 7 ambience theme. Let's just do pretty much the same, except the priority. This is the volume, this is the fade time, this is the priority. The priority needs to be more than this, or else it won't really work. Only the music with the highest priority is played. So let's put the priority above this and save that, and let's go back into the game. I have it right open, so why not just start it? And custom story, tutorial, start. Alright. So first off, there's 6-second timer, and that's when the music starts. But when we collide with the area right here, it's gonna play another theme, as you can hear. Just change the music. This is a very creepy theme though. It's played in the archive cellars before the water monster appears. And yeah, so yeah. And that's pretty much 3 very basic commands or functions, or I don't even know exactly what to call them, but they're engine scripts or whatever. So let's just exit out of the game here, and that's pretty much it for the video. If you just experiment with it and you become more familiar with it, the best way to learn is actually by doing. So if you use this a lot, then yeah, that's how it's gonna do, and it's gonna work. So thank you for watching. Hopefully you understand most of it, and hopefully you will become good at scripting and understand. Yeah, so just use it a lot and you become very familiar with it, and if you want, you can read through this whole page, and you'll be able to find out a lot of the functions that you are able to use. And if you played through the actual game, you pretty much just think about it. If you played through the campaign, you can think, oh wait, how did that work? That is possible to do. Everything that's done in the real game is possible to do in your custom story. And if you really are stuck somewhere, you could just open up the files of the actual campaign and look at how they did it in the first place. This can help in a lot of cases. Let's go back to the main game. Let's search for the maps folder, main story, chapter 1, 2, or 3, just chapter 1. If you like, let's say Daniel's room, HPS file. This is the guest room. If you just double click it, this is the file with everything in the game, and it looks just like a custom story file if you have a lot of things, although it has a lot of things in it. But of course, if you start understanding the code, you can just look through and see what if you're using this page, you can see what every function does. So anyway, yeah, thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoy making your own custom story.